Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I'm Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton, and we are finally back again. I mean, we are just the spottiest people you've ever seen in your life. We've officially gone down to one show per week. We're sorry about that. We just had such busy schedules. My classes are the exact opposite of Austin's, and then these got broadcasts on top of that. So we've been very busy lately. So we're going down to one show a week. Every Thursday, we'll bring you a show. That is guaranteed. Every Thursday. We'll move heaven and earth. One show every Thursday. We'll get that done. We'll do an extended show. So this one's probably going to be about an hour 20, hour 30, something quite like that. So Austin, say hello to the people.
We are back, people. Week 1 of the NFL. We're approaching week 3 of college football. Football's back, and I couldn't be happier.
We are back. We are getting done back.
Oh my God!
Hey, for reference, if you haven't seen it, that's just too bad.
Jordan, I literally quote it probably too often, to be honest.
Way too much.
That's fine with me, though.
I love it. Okay, we're gonna overreact. Does that sound good to you, Austin? I want to absolutely overblow.
I mean, it's a pretty typical thing to do after week 1 of the NFL.
So we might as well just go down that road.
Follow in suit with everyone else.
I'm gonna give you 3 stories of possible overreactions, and you tell me if these are going to be overreactions or if everything's going to be just fine. All right. Number 1, the most popular after the beating that they took, lost by 30 points to the Tennessee Titans at home in their opener, gets booed into the locker room. Baker Mayfield, I think, 3 interceptions in that game, I believe. They get blown out by the Titans. The Cleveland Browns. Are the Cleveland Browns, Austin, overrated?
I've always kind of thought they were overrated kind of from the beginning, to be completely honest. I mean, Baker Mayfield in his second year, I like Baker Mayfield, but there's just so many other factors with this Browns team, so many new players, a new head coach being a huge part of this team. And for everyone, and we talked about this last show, for everyone to say, oh, well, they haven't made the playoffs in so long, but now – I mean, they should be in the They should be in the AFC Championship game, no doubt. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I think they were overrated by most, not by me. I don't have them in the playoffs. I had them maybe going 7-9. So that's a start to the season I didn't expect because I thought Tennessee was pretty bad. But I don't expect them to be that great this year. So. Yeah, I think they were overrated from everyone's perspective. I mean, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz were broadcasting that game because they're like, man, there's so much hype with Cleveland this year. They're going to be so good. The Hound Pound is sold out. Boo. I mean, bad stuff. So, yeah, I do think they were overrated. Not by me, though. By a lot. By a lot.
I want to start off by saying you coined it, an amazing phrase right there. The Hound Pound. It's the Dog Pound. I like the Hound Pound a lot.
Right. Okay, so what that actually attributes to, the high school here in Maryville, they're the Hounds, and their high school football stadium is the Hound Pound.
I like the Hound Pound exponentially better. It's the Hound Pound in Cleveland now. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, the Browns are overrated. I thought this one was easy. We both had kind of been calling this in this season. The thing is, though, I think the reason that they were overrated because it seems as though that they give off this aura that we've been there, done that. Okay, we should already be written. We should already be favorites. We should already be penciled in above all these other teams because now we have Olivier Vernon and Odell Beckham, and we got Jarvis Landry and Njoku on our offense. You know, we're gonna have this unstoppable offense, and the fact is, that's impossible to sustain when you haven't had that success before. So I'm not a huge fan of how that happened. Yes, I have to edit that out. But I don't like this way that this team was established. They hired Freddie Kitchens, giving him a full-time job. He was the running backs coach last year, and he's coming out and he's saying anyone who's going to leak information, they're fired. And he said just like that in that Southern twang accent, that just like Jerry Jones, they're fired if they do that. That's something.
Well done on the impersonation. Well done. That's pretty solid, honestly.
Thank you. I got to end it there because once you start doing multiple impersonations, then you're like, that's
Yeah,
just
that's true. I was like,
right.
that one was good though.
When you start trying too hard, then it just goes downhill. So I thought the Browns were overrated, but I think that this is something that both of us foresaw. I think this is something that a lot of people in the NFL industry and media saw coming. But you have these casual fans who are out there like, oh man, they got Odell Beckham. They got a bunch of flash. But how much meat in that team really is there? They might have the worst offensive line in football, Austin. Did you see that game against Tennessee? Tennessee has a pretty good, not spectacular, not top 5, I don't think, defensive front in the NFL. They have a pretty good one. And they were getting pushed around. You cannot have Baker Mayfield running for his life. First of all, he's not as athletic as most people think him to be. And he's already injured with his hand. So your offensive line has already caused something quite to the detriment of your quarterback. And I don't like this offensive line at all. So I don't trust this team whatsoever. They have to show it to me. And I think that the fact that they've been saying that, we're already penciled in, right? We're already the favorites. Put us +7 or -7 in Vegas, right? That's not how it works. You have to prove yourself first, and then those things come later.
And that was my whole thought process when everyone was saying, "Oh, they're in." It's like, well, I'm not. They haven't proven at all that they're even close to playoff contention at all. So they have to exactly. You said it exactly. They have to prove it.
Right. Okay. Number 2, Kyler Murray. His debut didn't exactly get off to the easiest start. I had him in fantasy actually, and he went into the locker room with a negative point amount in fantasy.
Wow.
His final stats ended up being 53%, 53.7 completion percentage, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, 75.2 QB rating. He struggled a lot in the first half. I watched that entire game. He had 4 or 5 passes at the line, batted down from the defensive lineman. There was no rhythm into the offense whatsoever. So much that Mark Schlereth, who's one of my favorite commentators in the NFL since he started, I think last year was his first year, he says, I would compare this offense to garbage, but that's all to garbage. Those were his exact quotes, and he's not wrong. That's how bad that offense was in the first half against a Matt Patricia defense. So, Kyler Murray, do you think he's going to continue to struggle, or do you see him kind of having a good year as most people anticipate?
I don't see him struggling. That's a tough start against one of the best defenses in the entire, NFC with the Detroit Lions and Matt Patricia, who you and I have said is just, and what so many people have called him as a defensive genius. I mean, it's a pretty big statement. And so my biggest fear in regards to Kyler Murray is everyone potentially saying what you were saying with the batted down passes. He's too small to make it in this league. That's my biggest fear is coming out of this is like, he had 4 passes batted down. Everyone's saying he's not big enough. When in reality, I think he's going to be able to make the adjustment to where that's not a factor. He's so skilled, and knows how to put the ball in the right place once he gets into a rhythm. That was a really tough start. Your first NFL game at home, a sellout crowd, against a really, really good defense in the Detroit Lions where Matt Patricia's like, it's time to expose this rookie. That's his mindset going into the game is the Detroit Lions. It's time to expose this rookie. Where now Kyler Murray is like, okay, now it's time to get into a rhythm, and I think he will. So, no, I don't expect him to continue to struggle.
Yeah, and I think another thing is I don't feel like this game was covered properly because of his final game stats. He did not have a terrific game if you're looking at the stat line. He had a lot of incompletions. That first half was horrendous. I was so excited to watch Kyler. It's one of the biggest reasons why I watched the game. And he looked horrendous in the first half. In the second half, once he was in a rhythm, he had that zip on the ball that he always has, one of the most beautiful releases in football already. He was getting out routes. He's getting quick completions, the guy. He had that beautiful fade route to the left hash mark with Larry Fitzgerald where he dove out and caught it. And he came back and he tied the game. Literally, the game ended in a tie. So I don't understand he struggled the entire game. That's certainly not what happened. This young man came back with one of the least talented offenses outside of himself in the NFL against a tough defense that had shut him completely down in the first half in his first ever NFL
He made
start.
the right adjustments. Sometimes it's those little things that you like to see. He made the right halftime adjustments to succeed in the third and fourth quarter.
Right. And that's exactly what you want to see from your first overall pick and a quarterback especially. They made the adjustments. And something that's also, I think, really encouraging for the Arizona Cardinals is usually with the air raid offense, and you can speak to this in college, usually you start off hot, and then in the third and fourth quarter, teams start to catch up. You start to not be in a – once your rhythm is gone, your entire offense is kaput. You're done. That didn't happen in Arizona. They started off slow. Halftime, made adjustments in the fourth quarter when it mattered. Third quarter was ugly. Third quarter was almost just as ugly as quarter. Fourth quarter, they make an adjustment, and they go out and I'm going to say they basically win the game because they came back from, I think it was 16 or 18 points unanswered, which is absolutely incredible considering this offensive line, considering the weapons that he has. Fitzgerald's the best receiver that he has. No disrespect to him, but he's old. Just got to say that. And the fact that Kyler Murray came back and he tied the game against the Detroit Lions, one of the toughest defensive fronts, and one of the worst matchups that the Cardinals could have possibly faced, came back and tied the game, especially making the adjustments late rather than starting off hot and then fading toward the end. So I am all in on Kyler Murray still, and Sunday even elevated my expectations. All right, lastly, third, overreaction. Or is it? The Bears should move on from Mitchell Trubisky.
I think that's a little bit of an overreaction. I think it's really hard to tell off of week one, especially. I don't know. I don't know, but I want to hear what you have to say. Because I think this is probably the toughest one you have on here.
I have considered myself a Mitch Trubisky fan because I do believe that this kid has received a lot of hate coming out of college just because he was traded up and because he was overdrafted. This guy was one of the most hated guys on draft night for no reason. It's time to move on.
Wow.
I'm calling.
I can't believe you said that because you are one of the biggest Mitch fans I know.
I am. The best way I can describe this, and I've been thinking about this all day, okay? The best way I can describe
Well, this game happened all the way back last Thursday.
It happens last Thursday, 1 week ago. Yeah. So the best way I can describe this is I'm an exceptionally white person. Like, I have very white skin, all right? But during the summer, I can get a pretty good tan on my arms and on my head, where it counts, where everyone can see it. That doesn't really change how white my complexion is underneath. So when I take my shirt off to go to the pool, I'm still even more highlighted how white I am. You have something that is holding you back in Mitchell Trubisky. Now, every aspect of this team is elite to above average. What is the problem? The one problem is your limited quarterback. We were told coming out of college, this was one of the most accurate passers that we've seen in a few years. That was the reason he got drafted number one. He was deadly accurate. He can move. He's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. He's not accurate, and he doesn't have a strong arm. And you're watching this offense, and they're protecting him. And not the way that I'm talking about offensive line protections. I'm talking about got to get the ball out as quickly as possible, either make it first read and run. That's stuff that you do with a rookie quarterback. This guy's so limited. I love his leadership abilities, but once you take the shirt off, everything else is officially nice. You look down and you're still held back by that little bit that still is the same. I don't like the limitations that he puts on the Chicago Bears team. I think it's time to move on.
So if the Bears start out 5-4, do you think they're saying?
I really don't care what their record is. I really don't. I think that it's tough to replace a guy when you're winning. It's easy to replace a guy because it's easy to point the finger. Hey, this guy's the reason winning. Well, hey, there's no reason because we're the problem. Why are we changing guys? It's obvious that he's holding Matt Nagy, who's one of the best offensive play callers, He had the number one offense in Kansas City 3 years ago. It's obvious that Mitchell Trubisky is holding this offense back. So I don't care what the record is this year. I think it's time to move on after this year. Let me specify that. You don't replace quarterback midway through the year. After this season, I think it's time to move on.
So you think they'll go for a quarterback in the draft?
I think so, or maybe.
Do you think they will? Like, you think they should? Do you think they will?
I think they will too.
Wow.
They did not let Mitchell Trubisky talk to the media about the Packers' loss today. They did not let him talk about it. They had a PR person standing next to him to make sure that he didn't answer any questions about the Packers.
Why?
They're trying to protect him. I don't see it.
So you think this game at Denver, what do you want to see? What do you want to see for him to maybe change your mind, if it can be changed at all?
It can't. It's physical limitations. He's not accurate, and he cannot throw the ball deep. He can scramble around under pressure. His number one instinct is to get out of the pocket, and that's fine. That's fine. I can understand that. But does he extend plays? I don't think he has that ability. You can get out of the pocket, but do you make things happen with it? Patrick Mahomes is one of the best in the NFL of getting out of the pocket, but he doesn't run. He makes plays happen outside of the pocket. Yeah. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky does that.
So I mean, if you're saying all this, then I think I kind of have to agree, because you're the biggest Mitch fan I know. When everyone was going against this guy, you were like, well, hold on, let's see. And now you're saying, nope. So I'm not going to disagree with you.
I just figured third-year guy, this is when he's gonna take the next step. And I know it's only 1 weekend, but I saw a lot of the same from Mitchell Trubisky. I can't put my faith into him once again to take a leap year.
So how does he compare to someone like Dak Prescott, who him and Dak Prescott have been compared a lot?
Yeah, Dak Prescott has a strong arm, though. Like, he may not throw the ball down the field exceptionally well, but he does have an exceptionally strong arm. His legs are, until last week, his legs are for escape purposes only. It's not a running quarterback first. I think Dak also has limitations, but not to the extent of Mitchell Trubisky. He's bigger and stronger than Mitch as well.
Okay.
I think it's time to move on after this year. How you do that exactly, I can't provide that solution, because I can't. It's never easy to do.
That's really tough.
Yeah. Okay. Buy or sell, Austin. We are buying or selling teams after week 1. Number 1. Buy or sell the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm buying. I predicted them to actually win this division before I even saw what they did week 1. I think their offense is pretty dynamic, and defensively, I know you're not super high on them defensively, but I think they're capable enough defensively to give that offense a rest. Like, you know what? Like, their defense, I feel like, is still strong enough and coached well enough to perform well. So I was buying on them before the season even started, so I'm going to continue to do so.
Yeah.
I bet you're selling. I'm betting you're selling.
This is the best time to sell right now. A 40-point blowout against the worst team in the NFL against Miami. This is more of an indictment on how bad Miami is than how great Baltimore was. People talk about how great Lamar Jackson. He had a perfect passer rating. I think 158.3 is a perfect rating. He had a perfect passer rating. Marquise Brown took two touchdown passes to the house. This is against a team with a new coach. They traded Laremy Tunsil not even a week before this first game happened.
They are tanking.
Who are a tanking team. You have a new coach who is cleansing his roster. He is
literally everyone wants out of this franchise right now. Everyone.
That's not nothing new either. Adam Gase had tons of problems with players having attitude problems, having character issues. Brian Flores is not tolerating any of that stuff. He's getting the guys out of there that don't want to be there. Kenny Stills, Laremy Tunsil sent him to Houston, and he's cleansing this entire team. Now, I am impressed with how Lamar Jackson looked, but I'm not going to say that he looked like a quarterback, because he still doesn't look comfortable throwing the ball to me. You can't convince me anything else. he can make a spectacular 60-yard throw because we know he's got the arm strength. Yeah, I know he has some accuracy, and he hits Hollywood Brown on honestly a pass I could throw if I could get 60 yards on it. It was such an open throw. He had all the time in the world. The offensive line had no problems handling that Dolphins defensive line. He had all day to throw. He barely even had to run the ball. The running game worked with Mark Ingram. This Dolphins team was not built to win a game like this because they get down early, they're out. Because then the backup quarterback comes in, who's Josh Rosen. And then you put Fitzpatrick back in. And then Josh Rosen again. And now the defense is giving up 50 points. And now you're running all over. This was a defeated team before they even came into the season. I'm not giving Baltimore very much credit for it. I do like what I saw from Lamar Jackson's arm strength, the ability to throw the ball down the field and not hesitate like he did. But I will not forget that Baltimore Ravens versus Los Angeles Chargers playoff game last season where people wanted him out of the game for Joe Flacco. Do you remember that? People were saying, this guy can't throw the ball. Take him out for Joe Flacco. People legitimately wanted that. I will not forget that as something I can't overlook. I'm selling hard on the Ravens. And I have been all season too. So, all right. Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings.
This is a tough one for me because I'm still not super high on Kirk Cousins. But, man, defensively, they look pretty good. And Mike Zimmer, we all know how strong of a defensive coach he was. And he shut down one of the NFC South best offenses and one of the best offenses in the entire NFL itself, in the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm hesitant to buy, but I think I might. They looked pretty solid defensively for sure.
Yeah, I'm buying for sure on the Vikings. I have them going to the NFC Championship this season. And one thing that I thought was very interesting is last year they fired the offensive coordinator. He was the quarterback's coach of the Nick Foles Eagles team, John DeFilippo, or how I don't remember exactly how to pronounce his last name. They fired him because he passed too much. They get this new offensive coordinator in this year, and now Kirk Cousins threw the ball 10 times last Sunday. That's fine. He went 9 of 10.
Well, when you have a guy like Dalvin Cook who just beasted it up, then it's fine.
Boy, do they have a strong running back core. I loved what I saw from the Vikings. They took advantage of the worst part of the Atlanta Falcons team, and that's their defensive front. Outside of Greg Jarrett, you have a bunch of guys that are going to be bagging groceries next week. You have got to take advantage of that, and they absolutely did. I'm buying a lot on the Vikings this year. All right, number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think they ran into a buzzsaw in New England. I mean, New England was so hyped coming after their 6th Super Bowl ring. They were celebrating all that. And then the news that they're like, we got Antonio Brown. Pittsburgh's coming into town. It's time to roll. And wow, there was just nothing Pittsburgh could do in that game. So I'm not going to sell on Pittsburgh just yet because I still believe in Big Ben. I still believe in some of this defensive aspects. I just think what we take away from that game is that New England losing Gronk doesn't mean anything. They're still going to be just as beasts as they always are.
Yeah, I'm buying on the Steelers once again. Value here. Everyone's selling Steelers right now. Oh, my God. They look awful without Antonio Brown. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the worst possible matchup for the New England Patriots. It is something that we've known for several years now. Big Ben I don't think he's won in Gillette Stadium ever in the past 6 years. I think if he has had one win. And Tom Brady has absolutely decimated the Pittsburgh Steelers. These are completely opposite franchises, okay? Both with just about the same amount of success. Pittsburgh Steelers are the tough, gritty, not exact, but tough guy franchise. The New England Patriots are the precision, 10-yard out route. Not 11, 10-yard out route. Sort of
the scheme, the perfection, the game plan. And Pittsburgh is, we're going to bully you and win this game.
Absolutely.
Each have 6 Super Bowls.
Exactly.
2 different sides.
100% mismatch nightmare for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to put a little bit on Mike Tomlin. but some people just don't match up well against. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is the New England Patriots. I'm buying on the Pittsburgh Steelers because I think a lot of people love to hit the panic button after week 1. So, all right. Indianapolis Colts, buy or sell?
They look pretty good.
They didn't lose, though.
They look pretty good, but to one of the better AFC teams.
Yeah, I don't.
I know. It's like, but and then the rest of the Houston looked really good. When
they lost too.
Houston looked good. Jacksonville didn't look as good as I was expecting them to. And now, Jacksonville, who knows how good they're going to be without Nick Foles. It's close. It's really, this one is, you say the hardest one for last.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and give my answer. I'm going to buy.
Okay.
Mostly because I just don't want to overreact from week 1. They played a decent team. I expected to win, especially going in. I think it was in Los Angeles against a banged-up Chargers team. Their linebackers didn't play well. Austin Eckler had 2 receiving touchdowns. I'm going to buy because I still think they're going to win the South because everything is just so upside down in that division right now. I think a lot of people are overlooking Jacoby Brissett. So I'm going to buy tentatively.
Yeah, right? That's just like, I don't know because Houston looks so good.
I just need more. I need more from that. So I'm going to have to watch after this week.
Okay.
If I'm still not 100% convinced about this defense.
So put this team on next week. Put this team on for next week.
But I'm going to buy for now.
Put a pin in it.
Yes. So that's your answer. Put a pin in it.
I'm putting a pin in it.
Okay.
Put a pin in it.
All right. I mean, kind of broke the rules of the game, but we'll let it. All right. So let's go over our picks from Sunday. So each week we're going to pick 2 games with the spread, and we're just going to keep track of that throughout the season, see who wins at the end of the year. We'll probably put some bets on it. Not money, but we'll probably put a wager on it of some sort. So we both went 1 for 2. I went with San Fran +1. They ended up winning outright against Tampa Bay by, I believe it was 14 or a wide margin there. And then I lost by a wide margin. My Steelers +5.5 in New England. So I lost those 2. So awesome. How are your bets?
Yeah, I had New England over Pittsburgh. And then I won that one. And then I had Denver over Oakland. And boy, was I wrong with that one.
See, the one you sent me was you ended up winning it too. But the one that we ended up posting was it that one?
I won one from this weekend though, in actual Vegas.
Oh yeah, you did. But I'm talking about the ones we put on the website. You got Atlanta +3. Oh, you lost both of them.
Oh,
you lost both because the one that you had in Vegas was the San Fran.
That's right.
Right. I'm just talking about the stuff that we're doing per week. So that ticket is when we have that ticket, and that's $20 in Vegas. By the way, you're welcome. But yeah, you lost both of yours because you had Atlanta +3.5 at Minnesota, and then Denver -2.5 at Oakland. Ouch.
Tough stuff.
Ouch. So 0 for 2.
Well, I knew I shouldn't have bet on any Atlanta teams because man, they're just all awful. The whole city, really, when it comes down to it.
Think I'm gonna defend that?
I would have expected you to, maybe a little bit.
I'm not an Atlanta fan of anything except for the Braves, pretty much.
Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, the Royals whooped them bad.
Yeah, it's another 2-game series here in September. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have our new picks for Sunday. We'll put them on here. I'll post them onto the Twitter after this. So I'm going with big spreads this time because I think a lot of these guys are selling or buying high on these teams that absolutely murdered their teams in week 1. So I'm buying low on teams that pretty much everyone's selling on right now. So I'm going with the Cardinals +13 at the Ravens. The Ravens last year killed the Buffalo Bills by 40 points. Then the next week lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to follow up with that. I think that there's going to be tremendous amount of pressure on the offensive line. Lamar Jackson's not going to have the opportunity to sit back and relax and smoke a cigar back there. So I'm going to assume that Ed Oliver and crew in this defensive line is going to be able to get to Lamar Jackson a little bit. So, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are playing against the Ravens. I thought I had the Bills in my head for some reason. The Cardinals defensive line has been deadly good in the first game. They had Chandler Jones get a sack, and then Terrell Suggs got 2 sacks as well. I don't know why I had the Bills playing them, but the Cardinals are going to win. They might win outright, but I think it's going to be a 1-touchdown game the entire time. So plus 13 is an easy bet for me. I'm taking those points 100%. And then number 2, I have the Dolphins at plus 19 versus New England. 2 stats very important. New England always loses their first game in Miami. They always lose the game in Miami. The heat gets to them. They always drop that game. Second one, Bill Belichick always loses the first game to his former disciple. Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, Brian Flores now in Miami. This is tailor-made for them to win outright. I think the Dolphins are winning this game.
Wow.
Right.
That may be a hot take.
Oh, absolutely. They're plus 19. This is the NFL. Those don't happen.
Jeez.
No way. So I'm taking the Cardinals plus 13. I'm taking the Cardinals plus 13, get some pass rush on Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to look a lot more ordinary. And then Dolphins plus 19. The Heat and Brian Flores getting to Bill Belichick.
I'm actually going to go with the game that's taking place tonight. Carolina is a 6.5-point favorite over Tampa Bay. And what I saw from Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay, I'm gonna take the Panthers. And then Kansas City in Oakland. Oakland is really hype after their win against Denver. They're feeling good. And Derek Carr honestly looked pretty good. And then there's a lot of questions. Patrick Mahomes, how healthy he's going to be. No Tyreek Hill. I'm still going to take the Chiefs over scoring more than 7 over Oakland. I just think that this is a game that Kansas City doesn't lose. And they don't lose to Oakland. In week 2, I think Kansas City is focused on this game before they get to that game against Baltimore at home. I think Kansas City will be walking into Arrowhead 2-0.
So, is that Tampa? Is that game tonight in Tampa or is it in Carolina?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think it's in Carolina.
Okay. I mean, one thing that really would push me against the Panthers right there, minus 6.5, would be last year when they had that Thursday night game against the Steelers.
It is in Carolina.
In Carolina. That last game against the Steelers, that Thursday night game last season where Cam had that injury from TJ Watt, ruined their entire season. Maybe some correlation to that. I know they're not a good primetime team whatsoever, so maybe that I would push back on that a little bit. And then Kansas City I agree with, so I'm fine with those bets for sure. All right.
Your Miami one is pretty bold. That's crazy.
Okay. Now here's the thing. My outright winner of Miami is absolutely bold. You cannot let 19-point spread just walk away in the NFL. 19 points? You've got to be kidding me. There's no way in the world I'm right now just absolutely slander me on Twitter. I want all the hate speech on Twitter if they do not cover 19 points. I want it because I deserve it. If they lose by more than 19, 100% come after me. I 100% deserve it. I'm counting on the Miami Heat to get New England like it does every single year. And I'm thinking Brian Flores against his master, I guess. Bill Belichick always drops that first game. He did it last year against Matt Patricia. He did it against Josh McDaniels. It's happened many other times. It's going to happen, I think, again in Miami. All right. Real quick, we're going to go with I think we should probably cut a little out here. Might have to cut. We're going to Mirage or Real Deal. We'll go one more week, and I think we'll do that next week. If a guy has 2 good weeks, then we'll do that. Okay. We're going to go with award picks. We tried to do this before, but we ran out of time again, like we're probably going to today as well. We're going with award picks: MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, and Comeback Player of the Year. So, Austin, go ahead.
So, do you want to alternate picks?
Sure. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
Okay. So you want to start with
Comeback
Player of the Year? Okay. So my Comeback Player of the Year is center for the Dallas Cowboys, Travis Frederick. He sat out last season due to health reasons with a rare blood issue. And so he sat out all of last season. But this guy makes such a huge difference to this entire Dallas Cowboys offense. He's the sole piece of one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. He's the key piece. He protects Dak. He protects Zeke, one of the best running backs in the league. And now with the new offensive coordinator and what we saw from Sunday, this offense is going to be maybe pretty fun to watch. And with him being one of the key pieces of that, I like him to be the comeback player of the year. I think he's the best center in football, and I think he could prove that this season.
Yeah, I think Travis Frederick, but I think they'll go for Jason Witten, and that's who I'm going to pick. Jason Witten, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. I think Travis Frederick is going to deserve it more. But there's just such a storyline around Jason Witten. He was in the booth last year, and he was god-awful. We're taking him back to Jason Garrett recruits him back to play tight end for one more year with Dallas Cowboys. And another reason is offensive linemen don't usually win awards like this. This isn't something that they usually are recognized for. So I think it's going to be extremely difficult for someone to say, oh, hey, he is definitely the comeback player of the year over someone like Jason Witten, who was literally talking about the game rather than playing it last year.
Even if he deserves it more, yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Travis Frederick, I think, if you're gonna simulate the rest of his career, is probably better than Jason Witten's career. He's one of the best centers of all time already, I think, in my eyes, especially in the Cowboys franchise. And Jason Witten's also one of the best tight ends ever. So you got two all-timers, I think. The storyline around Jason Witten is just so hard to come by. I think comeback player of the year is almost locked up for that. So, all right, defensive rookie of the year.
I actually have your Buffalo Bill Ed Oliver. I think defensively Buffalo is very, very underrated.
Nasty.
And I mean, if that guy is one of the big pieces of that defense that could potentially finish second in that division, then he's going to get some eyes. He's going to get looked at, and I think he could be defensive rookie of the year.
I'm going to go with maybe a guy you don't really know all that well, Byron Murphy Jr. Now, he's the cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. The reason I'm picking him right now is because he's a ball hawk, and people love turnovers, especially from cornerbacks. We see it all the time with Jalen Ramsey and Marcus Peters. The more turnovers you create, the higher your Instagram followers are, the higher you recognize in the media. So I'm going with Byron Murphy Jr. He's getting 4 complete fresh starts at cornerback number 1 because of Patrick Peterson's 4-game PED suspension. So that's a big thing to me because most corners don't start number 1 right away. Byron Murphy he's the number 1 corner listed on the Arizona Cardinals depth chart right now. So I think he's going to get a lot of snaps early. I think they're going to like what they see from him. Maybe even move Peterson to the second spot. So I'm going with Byron Murphy Jr. I think this is a guy a lot of people overlooked. He should have went in the first round. And Jonathan Abrams was going to be my pick, but he tore his labrum, so he's going to be out for the year.
Yeah, I saw that. That's too bad.
Yeah. All right. Offensive rookie of the year.
I have Kyler Murray. I don't think that he's going to continue to struggle. I think this is a guy who is going to make the correct adjustments. I mean, this guy's very skilled. I mean, he was drafted to play baseball. He's in the MLB. Like, he's a pretty skilled athlete, believe it or not. So I think he's going to get it corrected and put up some good numbers this season.
Yeah, if it was any surprise, I'm picking Kyler Murray as well. I hate this guy. I just yeah. I mean, I like nothing about him.
Though. Big fan of Baker.
Right.
Can't stand Kyler.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I love the guys that come first. They lay the foundation for
exactly.
Kyler. Kyler Murray would be nothing without Baker Mayfield.
That's so true. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I was going to say the same thing.
Exactly. 100% Kyler Murray. He has the most opportunity. He's building his entire offense is being built around him as we speak right now. He has the most ability of any quarterback I've seen since Michael Vick, and Lamar Jackson's probably also another one of those. But I love Kyler Murray, everything about his style of play. I definitely see him throwing around 30 touchdowns this year, challenging Baker Mayfield's touchdown record from last year. All right. Coach of the year, always a tough one.
It is a tough one.
This board basically means which team exceeded expectations the most, because that's usually what coach wins the award. So last year was Matt Nagy.
Exactly. So that's why I'm going to go with actually Matt Patricia of the Detroit Lions. I think that this is a team that I actually have to do pretty well and potentially even make the playoffs. And I think if he's able to get them into the playoffs or even win this division, especially, then he would be the coach of the year in my eyes for sure.
Okay, I didn't. So you predict that then?
Yeah, I think he could be coach of the year. Yeah.
So you think they make the playoffs?
I do.
Wow! After that tie.
After the tie. Boy, and that tie was not on his fault. That was his assistant coach. Did you see how they calling the timeout? And boy, what a disaster. That wouldn't have even ended in a tie. They would have won the game if it wasn't for his assistant coach.
Absolutely. I actually cheated a little bit here, Austin, because we both changed our defense. We both had the same defensive player of the year, and I had Matt Patricia as coach of the year. And then I saw what happened. I saw the tie.
Okay.
So I'm going with Sean McDermott. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills head coach because the exact opposite happened in the Buffalo Bills game. First of all, they played a better team. The Jets are a better team than Arizona Cardinals. I think they have a superior coach, quarterback.
Are they more?
What?
Now that Sam Darnold is out with mono.
Oh my goodness, man. That guy can't catch a break this year.
Congrats on making out. I mean, big time. Big time power move for Sam Darnold right there.
Yeah, that's just terrible. That's just
it
terrible. So I think that the Bills played a better team. I think they had an absolutely dreadful start, just like the Cardinals did. And the Bills finally came back, 17 unanswered points. They were down 16-0, 17 unanswered points to win a game. I like that resilience more than what I saw from Detroit. I'm still picking Detroit to make the playoffs. I still think that defensive front, when they get a little healthier, because they're banged up right now, Austin. They get a little healthier. I do think that they're going to play a little better than they did against Arizona. You'll see what they had in the first half more than the second half. So I'm going with Sean McDermott. I think the Bills make the playoffs, and you have to give it to the team that is the biggest surprise of the season. I think the Buffalo Bills will beat that. So I have Sean McDermott. All right. Defensive Player of the Year, otherwise known as the Aaron Donald Award. Austin, who is your pick?
So I really wanted to go with someone from the Minnesota Vikings. I think Harrison Smith could be a pretty serious contender, but from a safety position, who knows? That's tough because Minnesota's defense really impressed me after week one, but I'm gonna pick Aaron Donald. I mean, it's just a pretty safe pick. I mean, the guy's just a beast. I mean, he's one of the most talented guys we've ever seen ever at any position. So I'm gonna give it to him. I really think that the Minnesota Vikings defense as a whole, as a team defense, is better than the Rams, but this is the best defensive player in football.
Yeah, I can't argue with it all that well. But I originally picked Jalen Ramsey.
So did I. I also did Jalen Ramsey.
I figured in a contract year like this one, with so much talent, being one of the best corners in the NFL, when he's focused, that he would be that.
He got destroyed by Sammy Watkins.
He got destroyed by Sammy Watkins. He got destroyed in general by a bunch of different Kansas City receivers and running backs. That entire defense got carved like it was Halloween. It was absolutely embarrassing to watch if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars defensive fan. They didn't show any fight, and I think Jalen Ramsey is a big part of that. They have a lot of guys that talk. It just doesn't feel like they have any containment to themselves. It feels like Doug Marrone has just absolutely let this team get out of control. So I think Jalen Ramsey's taking a step back this year after what I saw after week one. Unless he can contain his emotions himself, then I think he might retain that defensive player of the year. But I'm going with Luke Kuechly. I think the second best middle linebacker in the NFL behind Bobby Wagner. I think this is also going to be a big step up because I have such high hopes for the Carolina Panthers this year. I think that his defense is going to be much improved under Ron Rivera. They've added a lot of pieces. Also, last year they faced a lot of good offenses that no one really talked about. and that defense was almost a bottom 5 ranked defense, I believe, last year. Sneaky bad, pretty much. They talk about sneaky good. That defense was sneaky bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think Luke Kuechly is going to have all of the opportunities to finally get a full healthy season, a second healthy season rather, and get Defensive Player of the Year, leading the NFL in tackles this year. All right, Offensive Player of the Year.
Give me Zeke. Give me Zeke as the Offensive Player of the Year. This offensive line is healthy. Zach Martin may be coming under some health problems now, but they could be healthy, I guess. And when they are, it takes it back to 2016, man, when he was unstoppable and was right up there. Him and Dak were in tandem with the rookie title. And so I'm going to give it to Zeke. And the Cowboys didn't even have to use him. And what I was really impressed was with Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, looked like he made every decision so confidently, and it looked so great, so much better than Scott Linehan. So they're going to use Zeke in the right moments rather than, oh, we just got a first down, let's run the ball to Zeke. That was the ultimate Scott Linehan stigma is first down, run the football. Nope, we're going to use Zeke in great situations for him to break off and get us touchdowns. And that's what we saw week 1, and we didn't even have to use him to his full extent.
2 things with that, I think, is that if Scott Linehan was here, I'd actually be more inclined to pick Zeke because he is getting fed more so touches. Often. Right, more touches. Being used in the right spots doesn't really win you Offensive Player of the Year, I don't think. And also, usually, MVP and Offensive Player of the Year usually go hand in hand. If you win one, usually you win the other. And I don't think he could win MVP. So I wouldn't exactly pick Zeke, but I can't also. I mean, I think he's the best running back in football. Probably until the end of this year when I pick Saquon. My Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Big Ben Roethlisberger. I think Juju Smith-Schuster, even though he's banged up, he's questionable for Sunday. I think he's still going to have a good year with Juju Smith-Schuster. Going to have a lot of yak yards. They're building the offense around Big Ben and James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster, around one of the best historic offensive lines. How many years have these guys been together? I feel like this team never loses their offensive lineman. You got Pouncey, DeCastro, Villanueva, absolutely beast offensive line. I think his offense is going to put up a lot of numbers. I know a lot of people are selling the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I'm not. I'm sticking with them. I'm going Big Ben, Offensive Player of the Year. Lead the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. MVP. Toughest one.
This one is really tough. I'm going to go with Drew Brees. In this one, I had the Saints making it to the NFC Championship game. He looked pretty solid against the Texans on Monday night. I think him and Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, he just has so many weapons. I'm going to go with Drew Brees being the MVP.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm selling high on the Saints. I don't even have to make them playoffs this season. I'm going with Big Ben once again because like I said before, MVP and Offensive Player of the Year are pretty much hand in hand. Usually you win one and the other. It happened last year with Patrick Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP. So once again, he's going to lead the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns because this is a guy that absolutely can catch a hot streak faster than anyone in the NFL. He can put up. He's put up.
He also has cold streaks.
He does have cold streaks, 100%. But this is the year he has the most motivation under Mike Tomlin. It's just those two, and there's no distractions, no Le'Veon, no Antonio. Don't have to worry about any of that. Defense is going to be improved. He's not going to have to have shootouts, but I think he's got the ability to have those as well. In case the defense isn't actually as good as people think it is, because it is a young defense. So I'm going with Big Ben again. I think the most motivation of any player in the NFL. I think he pulls it off, gets Pittsburgh to AFC playoffs. All right. We're going with our top 5 list. We're jamming all of our segments into one show now, just once a week. So we're going to go top 5. We're going to put our Twitter poll question of the day, fact or fiction, and then the bet of the day, and Austin's day in sports history. So we're going with top 5 offenses in the NFL this season. Austin.
So, wow, I'm looking at my list. I should have updated this, but, I guess I'll keep it. Number 5, I have the Los Angeles Rams. I think Jared Goff can maybe kind of find a groove, and it's not all Sean McVay. I do think part of it, I would say a part of it is obviously Sean McVay, and their offense is so dominant because of that. Number 4, I have the Atlanta Falcons. You're changing your list. How dare you?
I am changing my list. Just one, because I still believe in the other ones.
All right, I'm going to keep the Falcons at 4. 3, I have the Cleveland Browns. I might have flipped those two. Kind of honestly, that's how you have it. I might have flipped those two, but I've always been kind of high on Baker, and I think he has a lot of weapons. So I mean, you protect him, and he can get guys into the end zone, and he can get into the end zone. Just protect the guy. 2, I have the Saints. Obviously, I have Drew Brees, my MVP. And number 1, I have the Kansas City Chiefs because they had the most weapons in the NFL, and that's not a debate. So, Patrick Mahomes literally just throw it to Sammy Watkins across the middle, and he's going to break off for 60 yards, apparently. And that's not who I was expecting to break off for 60 yards and have 3 touchdowns. But Sammy Watkins did. So, if Sammy Watkins is doing that, then that means Travis Kelce is going to be doing that. That means Tyreek Hill's going to be doing that. So, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, we all pretty much have our top 5 is pretty much kind of the same teams. I substituted 5 Vikings for the Steelers because I believe this passing attack is going to be more deadly than the Vikings' running attack this season. So I got Steelers number 5, Browns at number 4. Listen, it's no secret that I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, but I cannot deny how deadly their offense has the chance to be. It did not look good in week 1, but I do not anticipate that to continue. They're going to score points. They're going to do their thing. Whether they win or not is a totally other scenario. But they're going to score points. So I have the Browns at number 4. Number 3, I have the Falcons. They looked horrible against the Minnesota Vikings. But we also made these a couple weeks ago. I don't care. I'm still going with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Austin Hooper, Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman. Chris Lindstrom did break his foot. Oh, my goodness. That killed that. That has absolutely killed the Atlanta Falcons. They put him on IR to return. Caleb McGeary, and he was already banged up before the season started. So they're 2 offensive linemen, which were going to be their automatic fix for the offensive line, which is absolutely terrible last year. Isn't working right now. They're both injured. So that concerns me a lot. But I'm taking Julio Jones, number 3 for the Falcons.
Fair.
Number 2, the Los Angeles Rams. Play callers also have a big influence for this on me. So I have Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. Dan Quinn with the Falcons, not really. I wasn't really too confident with him. Sean McVay with the Rams is exactly what you're looking for. Jared Goff did not have a great first game. Todd Gurley was used in the right scenarios. Other than that, Malcolm Brown got a lot of touches, like you were saying. So it's kind of like who's going to kill me today, sort of Los Angeles Rams vibe. Like, who am I going to lead Cooper Kupp in the slot, or am I going to go Robert Woods up deep, or am I going to go Brandon Cooks on the side? Like, who am I covering exactly? And then you have Everett, who I think is a great vertical tight end. So I got the Rams at number 2, and then number 1, I had the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Darrell Williams, LaShawn McCoy, Mitchell Schwartz, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Demarcus Robinson. Those are 9 legitimate weapons that could start anywhere else in the NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Okay, let's take out Demarcus Robinson. Those are 8 legitimate weapons that would start on almost every other team in the NFL. Tyreek Hill is one of the most irreplaceable talents in the NFL, and he's going to be out he's not going to be on the IR. He's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks with that sprained AC joint in the shoulder, which is a crazy play of how that happened, by the way. But you still have Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins, and then you got Mecole Hardman. And they did sign Byron Pringle to the practice squad, by the way. They signed him back. So
how dare you?
Not leaving Kansas City. Hey, by the way, though, you have to clear waivers to go to be signed to the practice squad. So that means 31 other teams did pass on Byron Pringle. I don't like it, but it happened. So and I think the Chiefs number 1. I think it's the Chiefs number 1. I honestly, as a fan, I don't care. I think there's a wide gap between number 1 and 2. You just watch the Chiefs; they're just different than other teams. Yeah, every guy's open. Every guy is getting a little bit of a turn in their in a wheel or just something to get open to create space. And Patrick Mahomes is just Come on.
Exactly.
He's a cheat code.
How much do you think his injury will affect the offense?
It did. He definitely looked hobbled in that second half against Jacksonville, but he was full participant in practice today. Did tape up the ankle a little bit. It's going to take away a little bit of his scrambling ability, but what are you going to force him to throw within the pocket? Are you going to live with that too?
Is it that limiting to him? Exactly.
Right. So let's make sure he stays in the pocket and throws the ball. Okay. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. Top five. We're done talking about sports for once. Okay. Top five.
Now we get to the real meat of this show here.
Top five chips. Now it's not just potato chips. This is chips.
I'm
Top five chips. Austin, take it away.
I'm surprised looking at your list that you don't have your classic blue chips on there. That's usually
I do actually.
Oh, you do? Oh, there they are, number 2.
Yeah.
They are number 2. I was like, that's a staple for your list. I'm surprised it's not there. So number 5 for me, I have salt and vinegar chips. I like the kettle. So if you ever been to Jimmy John's, they have the kettle chips that are salt and vinegar, the Jimmy chips. Oh, those are so good. So good. Maybe the best reason to go to Jimmy John's, in my opinion.
Jimmy John's is fantastic.
Number 4, I have just your regular Doritos because you can do so many different things with these. I put them on like sandwiches. I put I put them on like taco salad. Like if I'm making taco salad, rather than using like Tostitos chips or regular tortilla chips, I'll use Doritos because it tastes so much better. Number 3, I have Funyuns. This to me is more of like, rather than eating it with like a meal or like a sandwich or something, I can just eat as like a snack. You know what I mean? Like I can just, a bag of chips, I can just like eat just by itself. And that's Funyuns for me. Number 2, very underrated chips here. Wavy, and they got to be wavy. The wavy honey barbecue chips. Wow. So good. So good. They got to be wavy.
Like, well, what's the company though? Like, who makes
Lay's.
it?
Lay's wavy hickory barbecue chips.
What's wrong with the original barbecues?
No, I'm going with the hickory barbecue. Got to be wavy. So good. So. Wow, oh my God. Why are you talking about food? Haven't ate. You hate to see it. Wow. Number 1, Cool Ranch Doritos. They've always been my favorite. I've always liked the Cool Ranch Doritos over any kind of Dorito, over any chip. It's my number 1. It always has been.
All right. Your number 1 is a classic, one I can't disagree with. The rest of the list is just suspect to me. I got to put it out there.
Yours is pretty suspect too. So
mine are like the classics, except for one.
They are not the classics.
One is my personal preference. These are like some of the most
all of mine are very well known. There are 2 on yours that are like, they're kind of out there.
Wavy honey barbecue chips are not well known. I didn't even know they made those.
They are. They're so good.
All right. Well, okay.
Yeah, okay. Your number. Never mind. I'll let you say your list, and then I'll dive in on you.
Okay. I love how we just we wait to debate until the non-sports parts. Like we're just like, oh, I can't wait to destroy each other till then. Okay, number 5, Sun Chips Garden Salsa. I like this one. I love Sun Chips because they're not overwhelming. They just have a nice, good flavor to it. They have some seasoning on it, some powder a little bit on it. I love Sun Chips.
But out of all the flavors,
they're also healthier. Of all the flavors, okay, Garden Salsa is my second favorite of the flavors, obviously, because I have number 1 on here. You'll find out which one that is. You personally hate Garden Salsa Sun Chips.
I do.
We've talked about this before.
Our teacher brought in a bag of these because I hate it. Oh my gosh.
Quick story for you guys. When we were at Butler in our sports media class, our instructor, Mr. Mike Swan, we were talking about chips, like best chips in the world. I brought up Garden Salsa Sun Chips as one of my favorites. Austin just basically spat in my face with words.
They're so bad.
And everyone in the class was against you. Everyone was like, you know what?
Well,
Yes, yeah, this is exact. Everyone's like, what? They're like, they're not that bad. And then apparently Swan is like the biggest fan of those. Apparently,
It's
he's like,
his favorite chip.
it's his favorite chip. Apparently, it's one of my favorites, but it's not my favorite. And then Swan goes and gets a bag of chips, garden salsa, sun chips, and just gives them to the class, and then makes Austin eat one. Terrific. So I have the number 5. Maybe the story is why they're number 5. Maybe they're not quite that good, but I got them number 5 because of that. Number 4, Cool Ranch Doritos rather. I do love these, but the thing is, I think I get tired of them a little bit because I eat them so much. So that might be a personal thing of why they're so low on the list, but I feel like you can't have top 5 without Cool Ranch Doritos.
I agree 100%.
I don't trust people who like nacho more than Cool Ranch. I don't trust them.
I don't either.
No.
Cool Ranch is better.
It's like people with two first names for their entire name, you know? I don't trust them either. Just like Cool Ranch. Yeah.
That's smart.
Number 3, I can't believe you didn't put them on there. Original Lay's. Now, my biggest gripe about it is the bag is a quarter full. They don't put anything in the bags. But they're salted right. They're just greasy enough to be good.
So basic. I don't know. I want something with a little more. They're classic. Like there's never a situation where they're not, like
Lay's. Original Lay's is literally the most popular chip on the earth.
It is, but it's just I want something more unique, more.
Okay, so when you think of potato chips, what's the first one that pops in your mind?
Lay's. But that doesn't mean it's the best.
It does in my list.
It doesn't. It doesn't mean it's the best. Just because it's so popular.
There's a reason it's the most popular. There's a reason it's the most popular.
No.
All right, you can be wrong. Number two. I have a dark horse.
Oh my god!
Because can I finish, Austin?
Oh man, please
do my thing. I let you talk. I like my time. Number 2 is actually an organic chip. I don't like organic food at all. Blue chips. And it's something that you can get at any store. It's kind of harder to find. They're unsalted. They're extremely healthy for you. And they have such good flavor because they're actual corn chips made from blue corn. So I love it. I know it's a rarity. I know a lot of people don't have them. But blue chips comes at number 2 for me.
Oh, man. What a classic.
Have you ever even had them?
I have.
And you don't?
I've had it. Okay, so I went to Manhattan, and I was staying with Maddie Higley's sister, and she had a bag of them. And I was like, these are Jordan's most iconic chips ever. And I was like, I'm going to take a couple of them just because.
What'd you think?
I mean, they're good. I mean, I would pick pretty much anything else over them, but they're good. Well, they wouldn't even be in my top 10. They wouldn't be in my top 10.
Okay, well, then that's not good. Don't tell me it's good and then say I would pick everything else over it. That literally means they suck.
They don't suck. Okay, I'll rephrase it. They don't suck. Special. They're nothing special.
All right, that's fine. I can deal with that. I understand it, but it's just a personal thing. And then number 1, I think another one of the more popular ones out there, Sun Chips Harvest Cheddar. Absolutely perfect powder on it with the cheddar cheese. It is so good, and it's so repeatable. Like, this is something you could literally eat an entire bag of and be like, I need to go get another bag.
Right?
It's one of those chips that you could just have all day.
So good.
And I think you could say that for many of these. So I think that's one of them. So Sun Chips Harvest Cheddar comes at number 1 for me. All right, Twitter poll question today. We want you guys to tell us, who is the first quarterback you think is going to lose their starting job in this season? Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Flacco, or Case Keenum? So vote on what you guys think. Jameis Winston with Bruce Arians, Jimmy Garoppolo with Kyle Shanahan, Joe Flacco with Vic Fangio. Drew Lock has a thumb injury, so who knows when he's going to be back. Case Keenum with Jay Gruden and Dwayne Haskins backing him up. So I would say Case Keenum, I believe, would probably be the first one to lose this because he has a legitimate successor that people would like to see now. Because I see the Redskins falling apart this season.
Yeah, I would lean towards Case Keenum as well because even though I don't think Keenum is the worst on this list, where I would lean towards Jameis Winston, but Case Keenum has a definite backup who's going to be a starter at some point in this league.
Yeah, I didn't like what I saw from Winston on Sunday. I might get hurt again, but I don't like Garoppolo, Flacco, or Keenum. Or I don't like any of these quarterbacks really. But I think Flacco is probably the worst of them. Keenum might be the second best, or he might be the best. Who knows? But I think he is the first one to lose his starting position this year. All right. Fact or fiction, and then we're going to move on to our last segment for Thursday's show. Awesome. Are you ready? You are 19 of 36 on this year. You have been on an absolute hot streak.
I have. I've gone what? I've gone 6 for the last 6?
You've gone 5 out of the last 6. You've gone 5 for the last 6.
Okay.
You missed 1 in 2 weeks.
Let's keep it going, baby.
All right. Are you ready? Number 1. Some cats are allergic to humans, or that denim jeans can also be used as an electoral ground.
You are a cat guy. So that becomes...
I have a cat. I don't know. I love dogs.
Work with cats all day. So I'm going to go with the cat. I'm going to go with the cats.
All right. The hot streak continues. There you go. You are 100% right. You are 20 of 37. Wow,
Let's go.
You're killing me lately. Wow. I guess these aren't going to be that tough. I mean, I got to bring. I mean, I'm bringing pretty good game, and you're just killing me here. All right, number 2. There are over 20,000 different variations of grass, and not the you know what, or that OMG can be traced back to 1917.
Throwing the numbers in there always seems to get me.
They both have numbers, so I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the OMG one because that sounds pretty believable.
I'm doing something wrong because you're killing.
Unbelievable! Wow. I feel like, did you adjust the grass one like it's close to that number?
I totally made it up.
Jeez.
Yeah, I totally made that up. All right. Wow.
It's like, oh my gosh, this would be unbelievable.
If you go 3 for 3 and you
might just have to give up.
8 of 9, I might have to just cancel the segment. All right, last one. A lot of pressure on you now because you need to go 3 for 3. Number 3. There was a successful Match.com match in Antarctica in 2014 where that the hottest place on Earth inhabited is Ethiopia.
I like how you match these two up together.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that, honestly.
I'm going to go with Antarctica being real. I'm going to go with Match.com.
2 of 3. You missed it. You missed it. I'm sorry. But man, have you just been torturing me lately? So you are 21 of 39.
I'll take that. I'll definitely take that.
Yeah. Well, 7 of your last 9. Incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I actually did change something on the Antarctica stat. It was not Match.com. It was Tinder.
Wow, you're kidding.
It was Tinder. Yep, 100. Yep.
That's really tough.
But you know what, man? Don't hang your head. Don't hang your head.
Right. You know what? I'm killing it. You're right.
Right. Keep your head up. Would have been better if you missed the first one and then came back with the 2. You would feel better about yourself.
I appreciate that. But
just feel good, man. You've been killing me lately. I lose sleep over this stuff. It's tough for me, really. Okay, last segment of the day. I'm gonna go Jordan's bet of the day, Austin. Today in sports history. So Austin, go ahead and take it away.
So today in sports history, your brother Nick would like this. It is the Seattle Seahawks' first regular season game in 1976, and they fell to St. Louis 30-24. So the Seattle Seahawks' first ever NFL game was today.
And I feel like at that time they were the St. Louis Cardinals, weren't they?
They might have been. They might have been the St. Louis Cardinals.
I think so. I doubt they were the Rams because they traveled from LA to St. Louis all the time. So I definitely think they're the St. Louis Cardinals then.
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan's bet of the day. I'm always going to give two for you guys. And one of them is actually going to surprise you there, Austin. I'm going with BYU plus 4.5 versus USC on Saturday. Pretty much my only reason for this bet is USC has been rolling lately. Their athletic director, Lynn Swan, retired out of the blue. No one knows. No reason why this guy resigned at all. So I'm going with the distracted USC team minus 4.5. This is a team that has been upset. The Pac-12 is just known for their upsets the past 3 years. So I'm going BYU plus 4.5. Number 2, plus 135 for the Raiders to score first in the game against the Chiefs. John Gruden is a guy that likes to take the ball when he wins a coin toss. The Chiefs are always a team that loves to kick it away. John Gruden's an offensive guy. He wants to put Patrick Mahomes on the gun immediately. He's going to go down there. He's going to try and score. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, a lot of reasons for John Gruden to try and negate Patrick Mahomes and try and make Mahomes play catch up as opposed to them playing catch up to Patrick Mahomes. So I think the Raiders score first, and that doesn't even have to be a touchdown. That just has to be a field goal. So I think they drive down against a defense for the Chiefs that I'm still kind of worried about. I didn't really like what I saw against Jacksonville, though I think they're much better, much improved. I think they go down and they plus 135 to score against Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Wow. All right.
That is it for us here on Meet Me Halfway. Hour and 16 is looking like for the show. Been a great show.
It has.
Once a week now. Until next semester.
Football back, baby. Love it.
Football is back. We're down to one show a week every Thursday until next semester, the beginning of next year, when I have an actual school schedule that works with everyone's. It'll be much better. We'll be able to do 2 a week. So that's going to be it for us. I'll meet me halfway. Jordan Griffith. I'll say goodbye, people.
Bye, people. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching. This is Meet Me Halfway. Thank you for watching.